Coming up on the Rockbridge Report. Authorities say a plane crash in the French Alps which killed 150 people may have been intentional. Find out what happened before the tragic accident.
Rockbridge County is almost ready to submit its budget, but some schools are still struggling to get back on track after the recession almost 8 years ago. Find out what options are available to those involved.
Good afternoon, Stuart Scott here with the Rockbridge Report weather update. We've got an absolutely gorgeous day outside right now, 74 degrees and just a few scattered clouds, but we will have some inclement weather coming up within the next few days. Stay tuned for your weekend weather forecast on the Rockbridge Report.
What we can expect by the deadline of December 8th is terrifying.
Lexington received a $700,000 grant from the state in 2011 to build homes for low-income families, but only a few have been completed. We'll tell you what the city might have to do if the homes aren't built. All this and more on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Alexandra Seymour.
And I'm Asher Lubin.
Stunning developments today in the Germanwings crash in the French Alps. It seems the co-pilot made a deliberate attempt to crash the plane. Polo Sandoval has the latest from Washington.
Co-pilot Andreas Lubitz crashed Germanwings Flight 9525 on purpose, according to French authorities. They say he locked himself in the cockpit and started the deadly descent.
The co-pilot, through deliberate abstention, refused to open the cockpit door to the chief pilot and used the button which controls loss of altitude.
A timeline suggests the first 21 minutes of the flight were routine. The two pilots exchanged what's been described as a normal conversation. Then the captain asked Lubitz to take over as he stepped out of the cockpit. That's when French prosecutors say Lubitz manipulated the flight controls.
Apparently he was breathing normally. He didn't say a word from the moment that the captain or chief pilot left the cockpit.
The cockpit voice recorder captured the final moments of the 150 people on board.
I reckon that the victims only became aware of what was going on at the very last moment, because on the tape, the sound that we're hearing, the screams are only in the very last moments before impact.
Investigators are digging into Lubitz's past. The 28-year-old pilot was a German national. His employer says he passed his yearly medical tests and he was 100% fit to fly.
We can only speculate about motives. We have no findings at all with regard to why the co-pilot did that.
All of this gives few answers to the families of Flight 9525. They gather at the base of a mountain, waiting to take their loved ones home. I'm Polo Sandoval reporting.
The U.S. began airstrikes into Crete on Wednesday in support of a stalled Iraqi ground offensive to retake the city from Islamic State fighters. The bombing marked a significant expansion of the U.S. military role in Iraq. The battle for Tikrit is widely seen as a step toward the more difficult and potentially decisive battle to regain control of the larger city of Mosul. Colonel Steve Warren, a Pentagon spokesman, said that at Baghdad's request, the U.S. began aerial surveillance over Tikrit in recent days and is sharing the collected intelligence with the Iraqi government. The U.S.-led air campaign, launched in August and joined by several European allies, has allowed Iraqi forces to halt the IS group's advance and claw back some of the territory militants seized last summer. Rockbridge County is at the peak of budget season, but local schools are still struggling to get back on track after the recession almost 8 years ago. Leslie Yavak tells us more.
The Rockbridge County School Board requested an additional $617,000 from the local government for the fiscal year of 2016. This is a 4.58% increase in current funding from Rockbridge County. Rockbridge County Fiscal Services Director Stephen Bolster said the school division is looking for more funding than last year.
They're anticipating additional expenditures, and there's not on the state side any additional anticipated funding to come in. The federal side is going down.
But at a meeting earlier this week, the Board of Supervisors decided to flat fund the schools. It will not provide any additional funding than it did last year. The school board did not request any additional money from the county last year because it received $1.7 million in funding from the state. But Rockbridge County School Board member David McDaniel said the schools will not get the same help for the upcoming fiscal year.
I think that's what's led to some questions and some issues with the supervisors this year. They see that money last year and they think we have it again this year, which we don't.
McDaniel said the schools are still trying to make up for major cuts made during the recession in 2008.
So we're always playing catch up. We never seem to ever get to where we actually need to be.
The school board hoped to increase some employee salaries 1.5%, improve summer and after-school reading programs, cover an increasing cost of healthcare premiums for school employees, and hire 5 new teachers in the elementary schools. McDaniel said without increasing salaries and improving the students' reading scores, the school's budget could be cut even more.
If we don't improve our SOL scores, we could potentially lose some state funding and some federal funding as well.
But if the school cannot provide a 1.5% salary increase for employees, they will also lose roughly $111,000 from anticipated state revenues. Officials anticipate the draft budget will be advertised sometime next week. Citizens can then comment on the new budget at a public hearing on April 22nd. But McDaniel said without funding from Rockbridge County, the schools will still face some difficult cuts.
And unfortunately, there will be some people that probably will lose their jobs, and there will be some programs that will be cut.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Leslie Yavak.
The school board will be busy over the next few weeks working with very tight numbers to finalize its budget for the fiscal year 2016. County officials expect the Rockbridge County budget for the upcoming year will be adopted on April 23rd.
The Vista Links remains open as Buena Vista awaits a negotiated settlement on defaulted bond payments with bond insurer ACA in late April. City Manager Jay Scudder has identified 3 options for the course heading into the next budget year. Scudder said the city plans to keep the course open as usual, but the possibility exists for the city to reach a lease or management agreement with a private company or close the course. Scudder said closing the course is not likely, even though it had an operating loss of $40,000 in 2014. A reported scam attempt last week opened up Rockbridge County's eyes to a growing problem. CC Smith has the story.
Last week, a scammer claiming to be Rockbridge County's Deputy Mark Embry called a county resident demanding money and threatening arrest.
They made it look like it was from our caller ID instead of theirs, wherever it come from, and they even had an officer's name to use to give it a little legitimacy.
Investigator Tony McFadden says the scammers may have seen Embry's name in recent news articles after a tractor-trailer hit his patrol car on I-81. When the resident hung up and talked to the Rockbridge County Sheriff's Office, she learned that Deputy Embry was still recovering from the accident. McFadden says that scammers, like this one, are extremely difficult to track down.
For us to investigate it and bring somebody in is almost impossible. Because they're usually based out of state, if not out of the country, normally.
After the alert was put on Facebook, citizens responded reporting suspected scamming attempts. Some cases came from people claiming to be from the IRS and Microsoft. I got a call from scammers saying they were the IRS fraud department. They got real nasty, and so did I. They told me to go down to the police office to get arrested. I've been getting calls from the same number. I don't pick up the phone, though, unless I know who's calling, but I almost answered. Scammers claiming to be from Microsoft said they were going to have me arrested yesterday for having illegal Microsoft products on my computer and wanted payment for my Microsoft license. I told them to call Dell because I paid for my computer and there was no way Microsoft would have my computer information. The Rockbridge County Sheriff's Office says citizens should be wary of businesses asking for money over the phone or internet. Residents should report possible scamming attempts to the Rockbridge County Sheriff's Office. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm CC Smith.
If you get a call demanding payment, the Sheriff's Office advises you hang up and call the company's listed number to talk to an employee.
The Buena Vista City School Board will hold a public hearing at 5 o'clock tonight at the Ramsey Center to discuss the proposed budget for the next school year. The $10.7 million budget for next year is slightly smaller than this year's $11.2 million budget, which included a state-mandated 10.6% increase in healthcare costs. Buena Vista School Superintendent John Keeler says the school system expects to add 2 full-time teaching positions in the next school year and give all system employees a 2% cost of living raise. When we come back, it's a great day to be outside. Find out what we can expect the sun and high temperatures to stick around. We'll have your full weekend's forecast ahead.
Budget season is among us, and property taxes are on the rise. We'll tell you how much taxpayers can expect to pay to fund Waddell Elementary School's renovations.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Hi, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
He's on his way. He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay.
Laura.
Okay, try to call him again.
There's no signal.
Try.
Nothing's working.
Well, just
Everything's down.
This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
Welcome back. Rockbridge County Sheriff Sergeant Hugh Ferguson says that Washington and Lee students have improved their relationship with local law enforcement officials and neighbors when it comes to off-campus parties. Ferguson credits the establishment of the Washington and Lee Campus Community Coalition. He says the community has been able to work together civilly to reduce the number of citations students receive for either drinking in public or for those under 21 possessing alcohol.
It's a beautiful day today, isn't it, Asher?
It is, Alexandra, but will it stay like this for the rest of the week? Stu, what can we expect for the 5-day forecast?
Good afternoon, Rockbridge County, and I hope everyone's outside enjoying this beautiful weather we're having. As you can see, we've got a high today of 76 degrees, a low of 44, and that 44% humidity level we're feeling right now is going to make it feel hot outside, so make sure you dress lightly for today. Let's take a look at our current conditions here at our studios in Lexington, and again, as I said, absolutely beautiful outside. 74 degrees currently with just a few scattered clouds, so enjoy that weather while you can. Unfortunately, it will not be continuing into the weekend. Let's take a look at our regional map. As you can see, we've got great conditions across the board here. Highs in Lexington as well as up in Stanton of 74 degrees and a low in Charlottesville of 70. But again, no precipitation and high temperatures make for a beautiful day in Southwest Virginia. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast and see how the weekend plays out. As you can see, we're going to have the onset of precipitation as well as a drop in temperature beginning Friday. On Saturday and Sunday, we'll see relatively temperate conditions in between the 40s and 50s. And on Monday, we're going to have scattered thunderstorms as well as a little bit of an increase in temperature. On Tuesday, it looks like we'll finally get back to some nice weather. Temperatures up to 69 degrees and partly cloudy. That's all for today. Thanks. Back to you, Asher.
Thanks, Stuart. I hope the spring weather is here to stay. The local real estate market remains strong despite a jump in property taxes. Lexington beat reporter Kinsey Grant has the story.
Lexington's real estate market is embracing change as taxes go up and the typical buyer evolves. But Scott Baker of J.F. Brown Real Estate says the market is still strong.
It's a small community, but it's a relatively active real estate market.
Lexington residents and realtors alike are bracing for a hike in property taxes to help service the Waddell Elementary School debt.
That's increased the real estate tax quite dramatically.
Baker said the tax rate increased from about 80 cents per $100 to $1.03 per $100 with the decision to renovate Waddell.
Historically, it moves up in a much slower pace.
The tax rate has increased about 40% since 2012. Locals are wary of the effect the increase may have on the real estate market.
Too high as it is, so why drive people out of Lexington?
The rise in real estate tax is not the only change currently affecting the Lexington market. In years past, students and their families have bought homes in Lexington to rent out and sell a few years later. New upperclassmen housing at Washington and Lee has removed some of these buyers from the market and replaced them with retirees.
In the past 20 years or so, it's sort of developed into a retirement destination for a lot of people because it is a small community and it has two universities in the same town.
I think we get a lot of benefits just living in Lexington area.
Baker said Lexington's mix of a rural pace and an intellectual community is attractive for retirees and alumni. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Kinsey Grant.
Baker said his office finished strong last year and expects the momentum to continue moving forward. When we come back, Lexington may owe the state a large sum of money after it didn't meet its deadline on a housing development plan.
And many Rockbridge area students participate in free school lunch programs. See how different the percentages are between the three school systems.
Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out
for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org because great things happen when we live united.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Welcome back. Senator Ted Cruz announced Tuesday that he and his family would be signing up for health care coverage through Obamacare. The Republican 2016 presidential candidate has been a passionate advocate for repealing the Affordable Health Care Act. Cruz previously received a generous health insurance package through his wife Heidi Cruz's employer, Goldman Sachs. Now that Mrs. Cruz is taking an unpaid leave from work to help her husband's campaign, the family will obtain its insurance on federal exchanges. Under Obamacare, members of Congress are required to obtain coverage through the DC HealthLink small business market. Cruz says that he strongly opposes the exemption that President Obama put in place for members of Congress. Cruz is still vehemently against Obamacare. He said Tuesday that in 2017, a new Republican president will sign legislation repealing the law.
Rockbridge County made it in the top 20 healthiest localities in Virginia. The county ranked 14th out of 133 in the 6th annual County Health Rankings released Wednesday. Researchers at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and the University of Wisconsin measured counties on 30 factors. Some of the factors surveyed were education, obesity, diet, exercise, teen births, smoking, and alcohol-related traffic deaths.
A new report reveals a striking difference in free and reduced price school lunch use among Rockbridge County's 3 school systems. An estimated 20% of Lexington school children qualify for the lunches, while in Rockbridge County schools, that number is more than 40%. And in Buena Vista, more than half of students qualify for free or reduced price lunches. That's about the same as the nationwide percentage, also about 50%. Volunteers from the National Timber Framers Guild are hard at work this week in the pavilion on the edge of Washington and Lee's campus. They are constructing the frame for the expansion of Project Horizon's headquarters, including Lisa's House, the local shelter for victims of domestic abuse. Volunteers have come from as far away as the United Kingdom for 10 days of construction. Around 45 cadets from Virginia Military Institute are also helping with the project. Many people in the Rockbridge area have opened up their homes to host these timber framers. Project Horizon serves victims of domestic and sexual violence and child abuse in the Rockbridge area.
When we come back, an update on your local sports teams and which games you won't want to miss this weekend.
And we'll tell you about what events Devil's Backbone is brewing up in the local community.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
And roll, we say, we want you to be okay. And roll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake.
There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat.
Now you can get covered and still
buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Well, it's just about the right time for spring sports to start flourishing. Emery, what's going on in the wild world of sports?
Well, Asher, in this year's March Madness Bracket Challenge, nearly 12 million brackets were submitted. Only 14 of those chose every Sweet 16 team correctly. Spencer Lieberman, a high school senior in Vermont, is among the 14 who chose every team correctly. Let's take a look at local sports. The W&L baseball team.
As we're going across, and
all of a sudden I realized, I was like, wait a second, let me check how the scores are doing today, because I hadn't really been paying attention, and I saw almost all of the teams that I had picked had won. The next day I saw that ESPN tweeted about it, and I saw that tweet and I was like, there is no way that I actually just did this, and I like quadruple checked.
Let's take a look at local sports. The WNL baseball team smoked Bridgewater 13-0 yesterday. Luke Meyer and Andrew Head had 3 RBIs apiece to help the Generals improve their record to 6-5. The team has a doubleheader at home against Roanoke on Saturday. The Generals men's lacrosse team fell late against Colby College on Tuesday, losing 12-11 to drop their record to 7-3. The team looks to get back on their winning ways on Saturday at Hampton-Sydney at 7:00 p.m. The number 11 ranked WNL women's tennis team beat Shenandoah 5-2 yesterday. Number 2 singles player Megan Buell led the way with a double bagel win. The team has matches this week against Emory and Carnegie Mellon at home. At VMI, the baseball team was rocked 11-3 by Old Dominion yesterday, dropping their record to 5-12. The Cadets look to respond to the defeat this weekend with a 3-game home series against conference rival Samford. In lacrosse, the VMI team is still seeking that elusive first victory after they were crushed 7-13 by number 8 ranked UVA. The Cadets are hoping the 11th time is the charm. April 4th when they play Mercer. SVU baseball dropped through 4-11 game at Christopher Newport yesterday. The team has a doubleheader against Marymount at home on Saturday. The Knights women lacrosse team lost 18-6 at Sweetbriar on Tuesday in the last regular season meeting the two teams will ever play. The team looks to win its first game tomorrow against St. Mary's at 5 o'clock. In high school sports, the Rockbridge County High School Wildcats enjoyed a great week across the board. The Wildcats girls tennis team won both of its matches. The baseball team crushed Perry McClure 15-0, their last game, and will look to repeat the same tomorrow when the two teams will play again. The Perry McClure's girls tennis team has a match tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. And that's a wrap for your local sports. Now back to you, Alexandra.
Thanks, Emery. We wish the best of luck to all the home teams. After almost 4 months of renovations, Lee Chapel at Washington and Lee University is scheduled to open on March 30th. The renovation project included a new fire suppression system, an upgraded track lighting system with LEDs, and new smoke detectors. The chapel also has a new hall exhibition gallery and text panel. Next week, the museum's new exhibit space will host Lee in the Field, featuring items used by General Robert E. Lee during the Civil War. Along with the General's military trunk and mess kit will be a Confederate battle flag on loan from the American Civil War Museum.
The Lexington Planning and Development Council is running out of time to build low-income houses on Thompson's Knoll. Kieran McQuilkin tells us what happened.
The Threshold organization is part of Lexington's housing department. In 2011, it received $700,000 from the state to build 20 houses on Thompson's Knoll near Lilburn Downing Middle School. Since then, only 4 houses have been completed and 1 is under construction. On December 8th, the city will have to pay back $35,000 for every unoccupied lot.
What we can expect by the deadline of December 8th is terrifying. We are challenged to build 16 houses and have them occupied by low and moderate income households. Unfortunately, we have not had the home buyers that we hoped to have.
Neil said that potential buyers don't have good enough credit to secure mortgages.
When I started approximately 20 years ago, we could get 1 in 3 people financed. Now, due to credit situations, we can get 1 in 10. To sell 16 houses, I need approximately 160, 175 people to come through the door.
Habitat for Humanity and some private contractors have helped build the houses. Habitat is currently working on a 5th home, the last they will do at Thompson's Knoll.
This house, we've been working on this house since mid-January, maybe 3rd week of January. Should be done around mid-June.
Neil said there's no way Threshold will be able to build houses on all of the 15 remaining lots by the deadline. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Kieran McQuilkin.
Devil's Backbone used to be one of Lexington's best-kept secrets, but it's quickly becoming one of the area's main attractions. Devil's Backbone has been serving the community its award-winning beers since it opened its doors in 2011. The brewery's tap room also hosts a variety of events for community members to enjoy. Megan Latella reports.
In 2008, Devil's Backbone opened at its first location in Nelson County, but the owners soon decided that they wanted to expand. They opened a distribution center in Lexington to increase the outreach of their beers.
Right now, we just distribute to the state of Virginia, Maryland, and the District of Columbia, and that's it. We've been having to expand to keep up with demand just in those areas. We're hoping to reach West Virginia and North Carolina by the end of the year.
Local residents can find Devil's Backbone products at most retailers in the Rockbridge area, but the taproom staff tries to have live music every other Friday in an effort to attract customers to enjoy their pints on site.
Love having music in here. Not many places around here have music, so I think it's good. It gets people out here.
The taproom only sells pretzels and chips, but customers are welcome to bring their own food and eat it while they drink their pints. Local pizza places will even deliver directly to Devil's Backbone.
Well, we have a good relationship with a lot of the employees that work here. We've gotten to know them. They're all very friendly and they're all really upbeat about what they do.
In addition to having live music and throwing themed parties such as last weekend's St. Patty's Day Bash, Devil's Backbone hosts a variety of weekly events.
We're starting a Mug Club event, which Mug Club is when members join the Mug Club. They are given some extra ounces on their pour of beer so they get it in a bigger glass.
People can join the Mug Club by paying a one-time fee of $60. In addition, females who are interested in an all-girls club can join the Devil's Backbone Growler Girls. In addition to these two clubs, Devil's Backbone also hosts trivia nights once per month, which so far have proven to be very popular. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Megan Latella.
That's all for this edition of the Rockbridge Report. For more information, check out rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net.
And a very happy birthday to our own Professor Brian Richardson. Thanks for tuning in and have a great evening.